The game of the weekend, there's really no doubt about it. Second part of Super Sunday, Manchester United versus Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, Ruben Amorim have both been speaking to the media in the last hour or so. Our reporters Dan Khan and Gary Cottrell were there asking the questions. Gary, sit tight. We'll be speaking to you in just a moment. And Dan, let's come to you first. I mean, listen, United and Arsenal have both been excited by their new centre-forward because they've both got someone in that position. How does Ruben Amorim feel about his new man, Benjamin Sesko?
Yeah, afternoon, David. It's so intriguing, isn't it? Because it feels like both of these strikers have intertwining storylines. Benjamin Sesko now at Manchester United. He was linked with Arsenal earlier in the window, and Victor Gyökeres, of course, now at Arsenal, worked under Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon. But when we focus on Sesko, I mean, everyone has been very impressed by how he's behaved since arriving at the club in the last week, how he's trained, how he's adapted to his surroundings here at Carrington, and having signed for United just under a week ago for an initial fee of £66 million from RB Leipzig. He's very much now a Manchester United striker and really forming this new look attack with the likes of Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. Between the three of them, they scored 48 league goals between them last season, and that's what Ruben Amorim will be hoping for. Just over £200 million for all three players. Will be hoping that his attack will now be bolstered going into this new season. A serious lack of goals was an issue last season, but with this new creativity and firepower, Manchester United will be hoping that this season will look much different to the 15th place they finished last year. But for Sesko himself, the question is, well, is he fit enough and is he able to start on Sunday? This is what Ruben Amorim had to say.
I'm really happy. I think he has a great potential in everything he does. He can play different type of footballs. He's going to feel that Premier League is really aggressive. He's going to learn, but he has a great potential, and I can see Ben be a striker for Manchester United for a longer few years. That's why we pay so much money to have a striker that will have his history in our club. We didn't have a lot of time, but he's ready. First of all, physically he's ready. That is a big component in our league. Then he's really smart. Every detail that he asks is a guy that is always thinking. He spent all afternoon here working on his fitness, so he's ready to play. We'll see if he's going to start.
Yeah, positive vibes there overall from Ruben Amorim on Benjamin Sesko, who, of course, Arsenal have been in for a little earlier on in the window, Gary, but instead they ended up going for Victor Gyökeres. So what do you think we can really expect from him?
Well, everyone here is delighted by him, by his arrival, by the fact, of course, that he made it clear, potentially, of course, a bit controversially, that he wanted to come to Arsenal, and he's here and he's settled in really well around the place, in the dressing room with the other players, and of course on the pitch, because he scored, didn't he, at the Emirates last weekend, was involved as well in a lot of the attacking play, could have had a second but for a great save. And Mikel Arteta's impressed not only by his football but by his career so far, the fact he's got experience of English football in the Championship, the fact that he dealt with and bounced back from the fact that when he was at Brighton he didn't get any Premier League football at all. He moved away, he improved himself, and then of course everything he achieved in Lisbon. He always scores in the first game of the season. He did so for the last two seasons in Lisbon. He did so the season before that at Coventry. I think he'll start on Sunday ahead of Kai Havertz. I think the team that played at the weekend will be the team that starts on Sunday. And of course, as you say, it could have been a very different story, couldn't it? It could have been Gyökeres starting for Manchester United, reuniting with his old boss, and it could have been Sesko starting for Arsenal. But no, it's turned out this way around. Mikel Arteta, I asked him about whether he was happy with the way that decision went. He didn't want to talk about Sesko, just wanted to talk about his own man.
I can just talk about Victor and how happy we are to have him. I think he's going to have a tremendous impact in the team. His adaptation has been very, very good, and we're really happy to have him. And first of all, understanding the player and exposing the player to the conditions that he can fulfill his incredible potential. And then that's going to be the key. And the good thing is that there have been many players, many strikers. They have come from different leagues. They have come to the Premier League and be successful. And it's for us creating the right context for Victor to do what he does the best, which is to score goals. He's getting better and better every day. He's normally a really fit player. It's true that he hasn't trained so much with us. He has those 2 moments in games when he's participated, and the feeling was very good. So let's see what we do on Sunday.
OK, so both of these managers have a new sort of leading forward, if you like, to get excited about. But Dan, of course, as far as Manchester United are concerned, that comes in a wider context of the whole front line being strengthened with Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo also arriving at Old Trafford before Benjamin Sesko. But what about elsewhere in the team? Any more potential strengthening to come?
Yeah, David, I mean, you're right to mention the incomings, and actually very impressive work by Manchester United to get these signings done well before the season has begun, because we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years they've been entangled in long transfer sagas, even for the likes of Harry Maguire, Anthony, Manuel Ugarte even last summer you can mention. But all 3 signings in terms of forwards are in. Diego Leon also as a fullback they secured quite early on in the window as well. But now the focus, as you said, will be on outgoings, and we know there are players who aren't part of Ruben Amorim's kind of first team plans going forward. The likes of Alejandro Garnacho very heavily linked with Chelsea. We know they're very interested in the young winger, just waiting for them to formalise that interest. Also the likes of Jadon Sancho, really heavily linked with AS Roma as we understand it. But then also Rasmus Højlund, who didn't feature last weekend at Old Trafford against Fiorentina in their last friendly. Ruben Amorim actually went with Mason Mount as their forward option on that occasion, and his future now very much in doubt. And when he was asked about this, I think Ruben Amorim was very keen on focusing on the players already at the club. But there's also question marks around the midfield as well. With Mbeumo and Cunha now at the club, Bruno Fernandes is expected to play slightly deeper. Then the question is who plays next to him, and that has really arisen, all of these links with Kolos Baliba, who Manchester United are interested in, but will they be able to do that this window or perhaps in the future? One midfielder to tell you about, David, in just the last 15 minutes who has left the club on loan is the young Toby Collier. He's joined West Brom on a season-long loan from the club. So that leaves that midfield area a bit lighter. But when it comes to Højlund and the midfield options, Ruben Amorim kept his cards pretty close to his chest.
Is one more option. We will see. We are focusing this game, and Rasmus is still our player.
Hi, Ruben. Just on the midfield situation, do you want a new midfielder to come in, and would you be confident of getting one in? Because it does look like you're quite light in that area. I'm
really happy with our players. They are working really well. We have different players for that position, so we are prepared to win any game with our players.
OK, so Dan was speaking there with Ruben Amorim. And Gary, I'm sure that Mikel Arteta is delighted when he sees you pitch up at Arsenal's training ground, ready to ask that first question, as you have the right to do, in your own inimitable way, choosing poetry and metaphor. Go on then, tell us more.
Listen, he was in a good mood. You could tell he was in a good mood. I had an Arsenal balloon as well, just to celebrate what is a big new season for Arsenal and, of course, for us at Sky Sports. And he's aware that it's a big season for him and Arsenal. And he referred back to those 3 second-place finishes when he was asked whether or not Arsenal could go one better this time. And he said, look, you keep digging and digging and digging until one day the gold is there. And he also confirmed, by the way, that despite criticism this week from a former Arsenal captain, Martin Ødegaard won the players' vote outright, really. A massive majority for him to carry on as captain. So, yeah, you're right. The opening of the news conference, after I presented him with this card, was a poem in this card. Arsenal are red, United are too. It's Sky's biggest Premier League season ever. We're excited. Are you?
I'm super excited. I can't wait. It's been a really productive pre-season. We made such an evolution in the squad as well, and we're ready to go.
After having come close 3 times now, knocking on the door of the title, but this season really is the most pressure on you and your team.
Yeah, you keep digging, and you have to be digging because one day the gold is going to be there, you know, and that's all the time. When I've been tough, when I've been educated, and that's it. For 3 seasons, we have more points than any other team in this league, which is incredible. So that's all about the consistency. Now we have to do it in a season, earn one more point, to the same amount of points and more goals difference than any other team. That's the objective.
OK, so in terms of that, Gary, I mean, you know, what you've already got, obviously struck up a bit of a rapport with Mikel Arteta over the seasons, and Dan has obviously as well with Manchester United just settling into life there. Guys, it's set to be a brilliant Super Sunday Part 2. Thank you very much indeed.